Okay, hi everybody. Remember this data set, right? Today we'll be discussing pivot tables. People, it's also called pivot tables. Pivot tables, pivot tables. Yeah. Let us see the Google definition. So a pivot table is an interactive way, yeah, to quickly summarize large amount of data. Pivot table. So a pivot table is used to summarize data, to analyze data, and do a whole lot of other stuff. Okay. Okay. So it's pretty much straightforward. I'm looking for a whole lot of introduction, but I'm not getting it. So we just get right in it. If you open your Excel sheets, right, and like I said, remember this is our data, right? Our first data, sales data, will start from here. Um, Pivot table would help summarize this data, like all the things we did, at least the most of them, all of it, I think we can have them done with pivot tables or pivot tables. Yes. So if you have a data set, so we're going to be doing a lot of this. This is like the bedrock of a second part of this learning. This is the bedrock of, like I said earlier on, creating dashboards and preparing our portfolios in Excel. Right. So let's go with the flow. I'm sure you guys are going to like it. So um, we had this data set. Remember how we would find total profit, average profit per region or country or by item type or sales channel, order priority, and the rest of them. We can do this and then how we had to use the count ifs and the sum ifs to get our computations. We can do this in a jiffy using what we call pivot tables. Pivot tables. So to get to pivot tables, first of all, you have to click. Your selection has to be on any cell within your data sets. Like this data set, see, I have selected within the data set, any cell within the data set. Contrary to some opinions, you do not need to select the whole data to get your pivots done. So you select and you go to insert, the insert tab. When you go to the insert tab, you see pivot table, recommended tables, and table. Okay. So if you just click on pivot table, a pop-up box comes up, and all you need to do, okay, you see the options, new sheets. Yes, you want a new sheet. All you need to do is to click on OK. When you click on OK, you have, go to a new page, and then you have this box coming. You see a table by the right-hand side of your screen called pivot table fields. If you notice something, you'd see that all the headers in your data sets would appear here. We check region, country, item type, sales channel, da, 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 da. Would have them here. Region, country, item type, sales channel. They are all here. Now in the pivot table fields, you'd see filters, a box for filters, another box for columns, another box for rows, and then another box of values. Now let me explain this to you. Filters basically, as like name implies, when we want to filter, remember how we would come to our data set and add a filter, Control Shift L, or we'll go to data, right, and select filter. and click on maybe a particular option, Asia and all. It filters for just Asia. That is what the filter does. Columns. Here are columns. If we want to arrange our data in columns, there we'll put the field here. For rows, if we want them in rows, so we're going to do practical immediately. And then values. Values have to do with numbers, like numbers that we're going to be summing or counting or whatever, numbers or whatever. When it comes to aggregation, either in count or sum or average, they fall under the values. So without much talk, one of the things we did was to find, one of the first things I think was to find total revenue, right? Per region. Let's see how pivots will do that. I take the pivots, I take there are different ways to do it. You can either select, right? The checkbox, and it goes to the row. Sometimes you could go to where you don't want it to. So another way to do it is just to pull it and drag to where you want it to get into. Here it has gotten to, here I put it in the row. So it is, so the regions, all the regions, you see the duplicates have been removed. Pivot table has removed the duplicates. And rows mean, okay, arrange these values in rows. That's why you have them in rows. If I wanted them in columns, I'll put it in columns. And you see, they are all arranged in columns. So you can see that. But then I want this in rows. And we want to find the total revenue per region. I take total revenue and put in values. And here we go, sum of total revenue. I'll change the format to decimal places. There we go. Perhaps adjust the currency so that it gives us the dollar vibes. And there we have it. We have our region, and then we have our total revenue per region. There you go. Who can remind me how we did this when we were working with functions? Which function did we use and yeah, to get this done? And what was the process we did? Yeah, I come here, right click, and I sort from the largest to the smallest so that it's pretty much presentable. But who can remind me, please? Remember we did this in one of our classes, in our classes? Let me see if I can find that sheet. Practice exercise 1. Yeah, there we go. Oh no, not this. It should be 2. Yeah, it should be somewhere around here. Okay, so it's total revenue per item type. Oh yeah, it's total revenue per region. Remember how we copied the region column to a new sheet, and then we removed duplicates to have them stand alone, and then we got to do our sum if to get the total revenue. Okay, here is total profits anyway. But yeah, so with all these plenty formulas, using pivot tables, we don't need to go through all that stress. We just need to use a pivot table, select the data, and put them in the right places, and we get our values. Let's try another thing. So I copy, and by the way, it's dynamic. You could change it, right? You could, I'll just keep this aside. I'll copy this and paste here. Now I want to see total revenue gotten from each item type. I'll take away the region from row by just dragging it out of the box, and I move item type into the row. And there you have it. Sort from largest to smallest. Just change this name to item type. And voila. This is our total revenue from the total revenue by item type. So from here, we can easily tell, I mean, it's quick analysis, we can easily tell our highest revenue was derived from cosmetic products and office supplies, while the least of them came from fruits. Okay. As a matter of fact, if you critically look, you find out that most consumables, foodstuffs, had the lowest revenue. So pivot tables help you carry out quick and meaningful analysis in a jiffy, rather than going through the sum ifs and the count ifs where you're prone to errors. Yeah. What do you guys think about this? Oh, yeah. There's so much silence. I am very hopeful you're all hearing me. I'd like to take silence for a flowing. So I'm going to do one more. Let me try by country. Take away item types, put country, and let's see the total profits per country. So the profit I have put in the values. In the row, I have put the country, and I just sort it from largest to smallest. And there we have it. Our highest revenue came from Djibouti. Oh, rather, our highest profits came from Djibouti and this other country, Myanmar, and the rest. Okay, so there we have it. We could also combine multiple data, like here where we did the region total revenue per region. Let's say we want to see the countries in this region and how they fared. We can still put country under the region in the row. And for every country mapped under every country under every region, you would see the breakdown of their revenue. Djibouti, Sub-Saharan Africa, you have them here. Just like, okay, if I do a filter here, maybe to help our understanding, if I come to the main data and I say do a filter for Asia, these are the countries in Asia. Very funny names. And I come to my dashboard, I come to the rather pivot table under Asia, you see, these are the countries there. So it's all around about playing around with the values, whatever you want to find. using pivot tables. I'll just take a pause for questions. So if you don't understand so far what we've done, or if you have questions, you could raise a hand, you could ask on the comments chat box, you could just ask. So if you understand, give me some sign, a chat or unmute and say something before we move on. Oh, James is around today. Nice. Yeah, James. Hi.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Please, sir, my question is a situation where there is a data set and, okay, let me say, total profit was not given, like was not
The data what?
provided. There is a data set,
Yeah.
like how you, for example, this one,
Yeah.
then the total profit was not done.
Total profit was not done.
Yes,
Okay.
like, okay. So, how will that work out with the pivot table?
How would you do that?
If you want to know the total profit, like you
Okay.
want to.
So that one way you can do it is to manually just compute it on your data, right, before you create your pivots or
Okay,
afterwards. However, no, um, it can be done on it can be done in what do you call it, your pivot table using what we call calculated fields under fields and items. But then I would not go into that today. It is going to make things
okay,
complex.
sir. Okay, sir, no
Yes,
problem.
but in the next class, I am going to talk about it. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So, that I just would want to take things stepwise. Okay, I'm just going to go through the process again, so that Hope said she's not really clear. So I'll just go through the process again for us to grasp. So, remember this our data set, our sales data set, right? Where we would have to find total sales by region, countries. I mean, I think I should pretty much find those questions I had asked. Um, it should be somewhere around. One second, please. The questions I see here are for the American voters, the US voters. We probably have them somewhere. So we pretty much did some assignments with these data sets where we had to use sum if, count if, average if, and the likes. Right. So here we are
Hello.
looking. Sorry, someone say something.
Yeah, it's me, T.
Okay, you have something to say?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, so I wanted to ask,
Yeah.
do I need to, because I didn't see you format anything, but I didn't see you do anything. So I want to believe this is a prepared table. So I wanted to ask, do I need to
Yes.
format a table before creating a pivot, um, before creating a pivot table?
Okay. So When you talk about formatting a table, what do you mean? Just to be clear, just to be sure we're on the same page.
Creating headers, removing duplicates, formatting the cells and all. I don't know.
Okay,
Because
okay,
I
that's
didn't see you
fine.
do anything on the table.
Okay,
That's
yes.
why, yeah.
Thank you. Very good question. So we're going to have a class on data cleaning. The formatting data, what you're talking about is on data cleaning. And as a matter of fact, I'm supposed to take us on that before I get into this, right? If I'm following the data analytics process, ideally, from gathering the data to preparing the data, processing the data, that's where data cleaning falls under, before analyzing the data and all. I contemplated that, but truth is, I didn't get the chance to find some pretty dirty data that needed cleaning. Um, so I would either have a touch on that on Thursday before we continue. Yes, I think that would be a good idea. So I'll have a touch on that. However, to answer your question, I didn't do all that because this data is clean, right? The data is already clean. There are no so when you're talking of data cleaning or data formatting and all that, you are looking for you're trying to remove duplicates to ensure there are no duplicates. You're trying to ensure um, the data is properly aligned. You don't have dates in the other priority column or item type in the food channel, or you don't have blanks, or if you have blanks, you have explanations for them or outliers, right? Um, those are the things you check out for. You want to check out for proper formatting of your dates and all, but I didn't bother getting into that pretty much because this data is already clean, right? It's already processed. So and I'm taking it stepwise. So I guess next class by Thursday we'll start with data cleaning. Since you brought it up, I was going to do it after next class, but it's good to have a look at it before we get back to further on the pivot tables. Thank you for that. But so since data is clean, so some people do this where there are two ways you could do. If you go to the insert tab, you see pivot table here, and then you see table. So mostly it is recommended to have your data set in tables, right? To have your data set in tables, you simply just go to insert and not click on, just click on table, and then it all comes here. One of the advantage of having your data in tables is so that if you're adding more data sets to it, it can easily reflect on your pivot tables. I'm trying so hard not to complicate things. So let's just go with the flow. I'm going to take people step by step, right? So you have this data set right now, and our data set, and you want to analyze the data. In fact, when it comes to analyzing data with Excel, you pretty much cannot do without pivot tables. So you're going for interviews and all pivot table is a must ask when it comes to Excel, right? So let's look at it. So like I said, you have a data set. So if I'm going to look at other data sets, it's going to help in comprehension. Um, I think I'm just going to draft out some questions so that it's going to help us maybe get more light into it. If anybody can help with the questions, some questions we asked when we did this. Total revenue by region. Total profits. We have total revenue and profits. Which sales channels? Okay. What was the sales channels performance by region? Which products, or rather, let me use it, which items sold better? Which items here had better sales in the offline sales channel? Let's make it 5. Um, what was the top order priority? Top order priority in Europe, right? And one more. How many units of office supplies was sold in sub-Saharan Africa? Yeah, so this brings more life to the task. Okay, let's look at this together. So first question is total revenue and profit by region. So we're using pivot tables. First thing you do is, of course, with your column with a cell selected. So once your data, of course, like once your data is properly organized, the first thing you want to do is ensure that your selected a cell is selected in within your data sets. You go to insert the insert tab and click on pivot table. Once you click on pivot table, this box comes up. You don't need to do anything really. It comes by default to new worksheet and you click on OK. When you click on OK, it opens this tab where you see pivot table here, build your reports. To build a report, and then you see a pivot table field. In the pivot table field, you have the list of all the fields, which are basically all the columns in your data sets on one. And then you have these boxes where you're supposed to fit in the fields to carry out your analysis. We have the filters, we have the columns, the rows, and values. Values are where you do your aggregations. By aggregations, I mean your addition. You put the values you want to count or you want to sum or average in values. Whereas rows are, the row is, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you want to arrange your data set in rows, you put them in rows. So they get in rows. If you want to arrange them in columns, you put them in columns. And then you see they have columns of their own. Right. So our first question is, what is the total revenue and total profit by region? So we basically want to know the revenue and then the profits each region made. So I go to my pivot table fields and take region and drag it to the row. So we have them here. Next, I'm going to take total revenue because we're told to find total revenue and total profits. So I'll take total revenue and move to values. Next is total profits. I'll take total profits and also move in values under total revenue. So here we have it. We have our total revenue, and then we have our total profits. Now I can format it, highlight, right-click, format cell, and go to numbers, put a comma. So it's pretty much more business. I think currency would make more sense. I'm just used to numbers. So there we have it. So here we've quickly been able to get our total revenue. We can sort it by revenue. I right-click and go to sort from largest to smallest. Remember, when you want to sort, you don't need to highlight everything. If you highlight everything, it's not going to give it, oh, yeah. So it's not going to give you the sort options, the highlights. You have to select just one cell in the sheet, in the column, and go to sort from largest to smallest, however you want it. Okay, so this was our first task, to get the total revenue and total profits by region. Okay. Can we all do this ourselves confidently? I hope it's pretty much easy. So task number 2. What was the sales channel performance by region? So pretty much what was, like, how much sales were made in each region through the various sales channels. Now, I don't need to go and start creating another pivot table. I can copy this one and tweak around it. Right, let me put it under here. Control C, Control V, there we have it. Now I'll just go to the pivot table fields. Maybe just take off everything. So the question is, what was the sales channels performance by region? So we have the regions here, and I'll put total revenue back. Now, sales channels, I'll put it in columns. So here we now have each column showing different sales channels. Oh, the worksheets. Yeah, so this is the same worksheet I had shared like some time back. But sure, I'll just share it. Um, I'll just share it with you people again right now. Sorry, 1 second. For those who do not have it, oh, they say I can't send it because it's currently in use. Oops, 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 oops. Okay, I'll just duplicate it. There we go. It's easy. So I'm sending via WhatsApp. I'm sorry, via the chat. I'll also send on the WhatsApp page right now. I understand some people are having pretty bad network. Sorry about that. Okay, so send on WhatsApp and send on the chat, the Zoom link. So here I put the sales channel on the column, in the column field, and then I put the region in the row field. And the task was to find the sales channel performance by region. Basically, how did different regions fare in sales? So this is one way to look at it. Perhaps I just sort from largest to smallest here. So here we see, we basically find, oh, Sub-Saharan Africa had the highest offline sales, and Europe had the highest online sales. We can add some visuals here to give us these details. If I highlight this column, and in the home tab, there is conditional formatting, something called conditional formatting. And you could take a data bar or a color scheme, the highest to lowest, conditional formatting. Yeah. So here we can see Sub-Saharan Africa had the highest offline sales, while Europe had the highest of online sales, followed by Sub-Saharan Africa. Sub-Saharan Africa had the highest sales. Highest revenue was generated from Sub-Saharan Africa. So this is one way, right? So we could also use the number of orders created, number of orders that were made to determine the performance. So how many orders? Of course, the aim of any business is to maximize profit, right? So in the end, even if it's one item that is making one maximize profit, yeah, that works. But let's see, let's look at profits, profit generated from this. So still our highest profits came from where we had our highest revenue. Sub-Saharan Africa. Then we have Europe. Then we have Asia. And then we have the Middle East, and so on and so forth. So pivot tables help us really get insights to data. So from different angles, let's see how this also fared based on number of orders placed. So I just duplicate the same item, take away the total profits, and perhaps I'll just take a count of the order ID. I move the order ID here, and it is showing me a sum. Now, why is it doing that? If we check our data sets, the other IDs are like numbers. So the pivot table is thinking they are supposed to be aggregated, like summed up. However, that's where you need to be careful. So I put the sum of other IDs. What I'm going to do now is to change it. Rather, to change it from sum. So you have different ways you can summarize your data. You can count, you can sum it, and all. So if I right click on the, say, grand total, and you see summarize by sum, here it's on sum, you can count, average, max, minimum, products. Basically, all that we do with our formulas, we can do that here. So I'll just change it to count, and then it does the count for me. Remember, we had formatted it to currency earlier. We copied the sheet, so I'll just change this to number, highlight everything, right click, and go to number formats. Or just general and click on OK. That didn't work. Oh boy. Okay, fine. I'll just do numbers, no duplicates, no commas, and click on OK. So there we have it. So there were a total of 100 orders. If I sort from the largest to the smallest, highest orders came from Sub-Saharan Africa. So there's an alignment. We have offline orders highest from Sub-Saharan Africa, and online too. They had the highest number of orders that were placed. Then we have Europe following suit, just mostly aligned with the total revenue. Right. So with these three charts, where you have the total revenue, you have the total profits, total revenue by region. For the two sales channels, we have total profits. Then we have number of orders placed. We can derive our insights. That should give the answer to what was the sales channel performance by region. Now, just in case it hasn't clicked, how we solved this in the earlier times when we were using functions was the sum ifs or the count ifs, like multiple criterias, right? Remember how we did also by region, sum total profits, where sales channel is equal to offline or where it's equal to online. All that we did with our computations, we just need to slide the fields to the right places, and we would have our computations at a snap. So that's what pivot tables do for us. So any questions before I move on to the next task? Okay, I'll just go on. Next is which items had better sales in the offline sales channel? Which items had better sales in the offline sales channel? Okay, let us get to work. So I'm just going to copy this again, highlight the whole table, Control C, Control V. So I'm going to take off total profits. I'll just work with revenue since we're talking of sales. So which items had better revenue? Which items had better sales in the offline sales channel? So we're looking at items now, not regions. So I'll take away region and put item types in row. So this gives us all the item types. And then I could sort from the largest to smallest, which is a good way to present your data rather than have it scattered. Now, what was the question again? I've got my item types, the items. So which of the items had better sales in the offline sales channel? So this is total sales. Now, how do we do better sales? So we want the offline sales channel only. I can move my sales channel to filter. The filter box here, I move to filter. When I do that, you have sales channel here on filter. And if I click the drop down, I have the options offline and online. We're interested in offline only, so I'll just select offline and click on OK. And there we have it. See, offline is just offline selected. Yeah, just offline selected. And then, so we have household items. The household item types had the highest revenue, had the highest sales in offline channel. Say we want to know for that of online channel, I just click on the drop down and select online, okay, and it gives that filter. So here we see that most of cosmetic products, cosmetics had the highest online sales. Say we want to compare them side by side, all we need to do is just to move. Okay, first of all, we can maybe select all or select multiple filter and select all. Okay. We can move our sales channel to colon so we have them side by side. That way we can easily tell the performance by looking. If it is hard to look, a good way to do it is to use your conditional formatting to like highlight from the colors, knowing that red is low, the lowest, and green is the highest. So you can easily tell that household items through the offline channel had the highest revenue, and cosmetics on the online, followed by office supplies, had the highest revenue. So this color coding easily helps you identify your items. Okay. Now I'll just drop this and then we'll continue with the other questions. There's another beautiful thing pivot tables do. It gives you the ability to drill down into the particular data, right? So let's say you have these items and then you want to see more information about this online cosmetic sales, right? Or anything really. Maybe the low sales cereals, you want to see the data, the actual backend data for this, or any of the cells anywhere. Just go to that particular cell and that has the aggregation and double click on it, it opens the field that gives you the details of all that data. So I selected cereals under offline, and it opened a different sheet 3, and showed me all of them, all the details, region, country, offline sales channel, type, order date, and all that, and all that, and all that. Everything that had to do with that particular sheet. So it helps you to drill down into the data set, isolate just those ones. Can be pretty cool, especially when you are investigating a data to find anomalies. So there we have it. The question again was, which item had better sales in the offline? Which items had better sales in the offline sales channel? So not just one item. Perhaps you could take top 3 or top 5. So here I could just sort from largest to smallest on the offline column and take the top 3. Yeah, because the fourth one is significantly down. So household items, cosmetics, and office supplies had the highest offline sales. Okay. So that's for the third question. This fourth question, what was the top order priority in Europe? Top order priority in Europe. Let's give it a shot. But does anybody want to give it a shot? Who can try? Anybody? For instance, that I'll call a name now and the person will just start answering. James, do you want to help us? Do you want to give it a shot?
Hello, sir.
Hi, James.
It's the question again.
I beg your pardon?
The question again.
Well, the question is, what was the top order priority in Europe?
So we select region on the pivot table field.
Sorry?
You select region.
I select region.
Yes, sir.
Let's click on region. Okay.
Then we select order priority.
Order priority. Okay.
Then we put it side by side. I think we put it on rows. No, I think
Order priority. Yes, so they're on roll right
um,
now.
they're on rows. No, put it on column.
On column. Okay.
Place
Order
it,
priority on
place it
column.
side by side. It's like this, okay.
Yeah, so we have CHLM.
Yes, okay. Okay, sir, please, read out the question again.
What was the top order priority in Europe? So more like, let me rephrase, like in Europe, which other priority was used the most?
So I don't know how to go about this one. Because I think there are no values here. I thought maybe values should pop up or something.
Sorry, come again.
So the other priorities, there are no values, so I don't know how I'll go about.
Okay, so basically we're trying to do a count how many orders were placed in these different other priorities, and in Europe, which other priority was used the most, right? That's the logic. Okay, Jeremiah, want to try? I'm surprised AD has not said anything on this call. AD, what is happening? Okay, Jeremiah, good to go. Want to give it a shot? Hello? Oh, I guess there's some network battle there. Dami, want to try?
Good evening, everyone.
Yeah, good evening.
Okay, for
You
top
get the
order,
question?
yes, I do.
Okay.
Top order priority in Europe. We have to bring the order priority to the columns. Yes, okay, it's already in columns. So we also have to take it to value, order
Take what
priority,
to value.
order priority.
Take other priority to value.
No, don't move it from AS like that. From there. Okay, so we have to remove these dollar signs and stuff.
Change the formatting.
Yes.
Okay.
So I think we can filter Europe on the row labels, like count of on the row labels. Just
Filter
filter
what?
Europe on the row labels. Just for Europe. I don't know if there's any, but we can see the highest one from
Like
here.
here,
But
and just select
yeah,
only Europe.
Europe. So yes, we can see the highest is H high.
The highest is 5. Is that what you
H
said?
H H H
8.
H
Where you saying 8 here, my brother? Okay,
H
H,
H
H,
H.
H. H,
Yes,
okay, okay.
yes.
Yeah. So the highest priority is H. However, I would uh, in giving that reply, I could also say that it was not there was no significant like difference, right, in the other priorities because they range between 4 and 7. I mean 5, 7, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. They really fall within the same number range. So there isn't any significant variation between them. But yes, per the task, um, H has the highest revenue. H has the highest rather other priority use in Europe. Thank you, Dami. So different ways to work around this anyway. Could have as well put region in the filter, right? Other priority by this side, and then select Europe and maybe sort from the largest to the smallest. And we have a sequence there, right? Okay. So next question, the last one for this. How many units of office supplies was sold? How many units was sold? Or how many units were sold? How many units of office supplies were sold? Was sold? Oh God, English is not not our mother tongue, right? Was sold in sub-Saharan Africa. How many units were sold? How many units was sold? Oh God. Yeah. So who can help? Probably help with the English too. How many units of office supplies were sold?
Hello,
Were
can you hear me,
sold.
sir?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremiah.
Okay. So can I answer this one now?
Oh, sure, please. That would be nice. So,
Okay. How many units of office supply? How many units of office? So we take away that other priority from the rules.
the way you're just saying with so much grace. Okay.
So
Take away that priority from the rules.
so let's take the
Let's take the region. Let me
okay,
like just take everything. Yeah.
so let's take the regions to okay. Let's take the regions to the rows and the units sold to the column.
Region to the rows and the units sold to the columns. Interesting. Are you sure you want to do that? Okay.
What am I saying? Sorry. Swap it.
I should swap it. So move regions to the column and units sold to the rows. Okay. You may want to look at the data anyway. So have a look at the data.
Okay.
We have units sold, a column for units sold. Right. And region and the rest. So the question is, how many units of office supply were sold in sub-Saharan Africa? How many units of office supplies? So we have the item type office supply. We have the units under units sold. And then our interest is in sub-Saharan Africa. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go back to the pivot chart. So yeah, let's take away the units sold out of there. Right? And the regions to the rows. Yeah, let's take the regions to the rows.
Okay.
And item types. Yeah, let's take the item types to the filter so that we're able to know which one we choose.
Okay. Item types to the filter.
Yeah, so let's choose the office supply there.
Okay, I click on the drop down and I select office supply.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Then let's take the unit sold to the values.
Unit sold to the values.
Yes. So we can filter for the region and put sub-Saharan Africa there.
We can literally see sub-Saharan Africa here.
Yes.
So why filter? So there goes our answer. Yeah. So how many units of office supplies were sold in sub-Saharan Africa? We have the filter on office supplies. We have our region in the row, and we have the units sold in the values. I mean, it's an aggregation, right? It's a numbers, so it sums up, and there we have our total value sold. Okay. So that is it for this first part. Any questions? So I know we have some people may not want to talk, so I'm just going to do a quick poll. If there are no questions, if there are questions, please bring it up. Okay. Um, so I'm sending out a poll. Let's answer quickly. It would help me know how to proceed further. So if you look at your Zoom screens now, there is a poll. So ascertain your understanding so far. And it's anonymous, so I don't know who is answering what, by the way. So feel free to answer. Okay, 2 people pending. Okay, a great deal of us understood so far. There is significant number 3 or 4 will rewatch 50-50 and I will rewatch it. So that's good feedback. 60% good, but 30%, the other 40%, the other 30 and 10% would need to fully align. Okay, so we're going to do one more exercise. There are deeper ends of this, but of course, this is the first day. We'll just take it pretty easy. Thank you for your votings. Now, how many of you remember our US voter? We're going to do the last assignment using pivot tables. So let me open the US voter sheet. So this is our US voter sheets, what we did last time. Where are those questions? Let me look out for them. Please feel free to ask questions, if any. Floor is still open.
Hello, sir.
Yes, please ask.
So mine is okay. Let's say you're using the pivot tables.
Sorry,
Then
please,
you
can you be more audible?
Okay, you're using the someone is using the pivot tables,
Yes, sir.
and the person clicks a cell outside the table he or she made.
Yes.
Then the pivot table fills this thing
Yeah,
goes
goes
off.
away. Yes, sir.
Yes. How do you bring it back? Because the only way I actually bring it back is Control Z.
Oh, now how do you bring it back? Just click back on your table. Just like this. You can see my screen. I click out, it goes away. It shows that whatever I'm doing is not in the pivot confinement, right?
Okay.
But then I click back on it and it comes back.
Okay.
But
Thank you, sir.
also to help, there are situations where you can just even exit, close it, and then you're clicking and it's not there, right? What you can do is once you've clicked within your pivot table, you right click, and then you see the last option, show field lists. Click on it and it comes back. I hope that helps.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Okay. So we worked on this US voters data. So why I'm bringing back this, we're going to be working with a whole lot of data sets, right? But why I'm bringing back this data is because we did the manual in quotes work with it. So let's see how it could be on the other side. Right. So can we attempt to answer these questions using pivot tables? The first question here was, how many confirmed voters in California were over 65 years old? So you select your data. So basically, I'm just showing you guys this so that it's applicable on any data set, whichever data set. So you select your data, go to insert and select pivot table, highlight everything, new sheet, and okay. There you go. Now our task is how many confirmed voters in California were over 65 years old. So we have a column for confirmed voters. So I'm going to put confirmed voters in values. Let me zoom in. There we have it. These were the confirmed voters. Now, how many confirmed voters in California were over 65 years? So I can play around this anyway. I could either put California and the age in filter, the state and the age in filter. But let me just put the states in the row so we see all the states. And then the age in filter. Now I select above 65. 65 and above, 65 plus, and click on OK. Question was, how many confirmed voters in California were over 65 years? So I filtered above 65 years, and I come to California, and this is our value. As simple as that. I could have as well put state in filter also. So you have age and state in filter. I click on the drop down and select California, and it will still give me my figures. Right. So that's for question number 1. Oh, I could also put the age in colon. The colons, and just looked for which one. And just looked for where California was and intercepted with 65 plus. And there I would have my answer. So basically, different ways to get the job done. Okay, so the next question was next question, what percentage of citizen population do 45 to 65-year-olds represent? This is a very beautiful question. So we have citizen population. I'm going to change this to citizen population. Okay, let me just make a copy so that you can always reference it. Please, just so we learn, if you want to duplicate, if you want to make a copy of a pivot table, maybe you want to reuse it side by side or something, and you have a filter colon, you have a filter, the filter field enter just like this. You have to ensure that you're copying it from the filter down to the whole data set. If you copy only the table, it's no longer going to be a pivot table. It's just going to be some data. Let me show you what I'm saying. Here, there's a filter here, right? If I skip the filter and copy only this one, and I paste, see, it becomes like a normal data set. Right click, no pivot table. Yeah, so if you're copying a pivot table, you have to copy it with all its components. So with the filter, start copying from the filter. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. So sorry. My brain should be bit. So what percentage of citizen population is 45 to 65? So we have citizen population here. I put that in this. This is not state-wise. Then I put the age range in this. There's a filter on it, that is 5. So I click on it and I click on this filter icon and clear filters. So we have the different age ranges here, and we have the citizen population here in values. Now, what percentage of the citizen population does 45 to 64 cover, or is 45 to 64 age range, right? Now, if I right click on this, there is an option to show value as. So you can show value as different things. Here, there's no calculation, just summation. Remember, there are two things. There is summarize value by. That involves sum, count, average, max, mean, product, But show value as is a different ballgame. So you can show value as percentage of grand total, percentage of column total, row total, and the rest of them. So many things you can do with them. But here we're interested in percentage of grand total. The grand total is the total citizen, and we're told to find what percentage of the total citizen is the 45 to 64 age range. So I just right click on the aggregation and go to show value as and percentage of grand total. Here, I can easily see that it is 35.63 or 36%. Right? If you round it up to a whole number. So here's our answer. 36% of the citizens population is 45 to 64. Pretty easier, more like straightforward, saves you the whole plenty calculations, count ifs, So good stuff. Any questions? So the next is calculate voter turnout, which is confirmed voters divided by registered voters for each state where the voters were below 25. This is pretty tricky, but since we are answering the question, we'll just answer. We'll have to touch some tough waters, but don't don't be hard on yourself. You could always revisit and graphs would also revisit it. So here we're going to find voter turnout, and the calculation given is confirmed voters divided by registered voters. And for each state where the voters were below 25 years old. So here we are dealing with states. So I'm going to put states in the rows. And next, we were told to calculate next, calculate total voter turnout, where the voters, sorry, I keep repeating the question, where the voters were below 25 age. So we're going to put a filter. We want only those that are below 25 years. So if you look at our data, we have 25 to 34, 35 to 44, ta, 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 ta. So our interest is only 18 to 24. I click OK. Now, we are given a formula for voter turnout that says confirmed voters divided by registered voters. Just so that it's easy, and since it's the first time, I'll just put confirmed voters in the values and registered voters. Because of our previous formatting, it's in percentage, so I'll just change this to numbers. Okay. So we have our confirmed voters, we have our registered voters. Now we are told that the voter turnout is equal to confirmed voters divided by registered voters. So if we're doing this manually, we'll just create another column here and do equal to confirmed voters divided by this, right? And drag it down. This doesn't work exactly with pivot tables. See, we're having the same answers. There's a workaround, but that's not what we're learning here. When it comes with calculations in pivot tables, there is something called calculated fields. Sorry, I wouldn't want to confuse us. I feel like I should stop. I should stop there today. Let's take this in. In the next class, we'll talk about calculated fields. So we'll start from here in the next class, where we talk about calculated fields. Or should I just do it and then we revisit in the next class? Maybe I'll just do that. So if you go to your pivot table analyze tab, you'd see options. You see this option called fields, items, and sets. If you click on it, the drop down, you see calculated fields. It brings a pop-up where you can do your calculations. So name, I can call it voters turnout. And then the formula is basically confirmed voters, right, in sets, divided by the forward slash, is it backward slash here, is the division sign. So divided by registered voters in sets, and click on OK. Pretty simple, right? And there you have the voters turnout. This is in whole number. We want it in decimal places. So we have to be particular about our formatting. right? So I'm going to format this to percentage and maybe keep it at 2 decimal places. Okay. So what is the need for this decimal places? Let me just leave it this. Yeah, this is neater. So here we have it, our voters turnout. Confirmed voters divided by registered voters will give you the voters turnout. Yeah, and that was the question. What to calculate the voters turnout for each state where the voters were below 25 years. So we selected below 25 years, which is 18 to 24, and did our computation using calculated fields. Under the pivot table analyze option, we went to fields, items, and sets, selected calculated fields, and we created one, gave it a name, voter turnout. And the next space, we entered our formula where we had here the fields, citizen population, confirmed voters rather, divided by registered voters, and we click on OK, and this came out. So we'll look into calculated fields further in subsequent classes, but for today, welcome to the world of pivot tables. Yes, please ask question, James.
So, was that an equal to sign? Did you start it with an equal to?
Yes. Please, there's an equal to sign. By default, you'll even see an equal to sign there. See? Right. I don't think, okay, yes, so equal to sign, yeah. So if you clean yours, put it back and do your maths. Your formulas would always start with equal to signs. I don't even know if it's going to work without an equal to sign. I've not tried it out. Let me try it out and see. We learn every day. Oh, you see, by default, the equal to sign would even come back. I didn't add it this time, and then it came back. So critical. Insert here. Okay, any questions, please? Any further questions? So this is one of the assignments we did where we had to use formulas, right? Now we've done it using pivot tables. So I would want people to replicate what we did with these two examples, the sales dashboard dataset and the US voters dataset also. I'm going to also resend the US voters dashboard sheet dataset so that we can practice. So I'm sending both on the WhatsApp platform and on the sheets. So the task would be to basically replicate what we've done today and submit the assignments this time around so that I would not be accused of not posting assignments. I'm going to post them on the WhatsApp platform. 2 questions for the 2 sheets. Okay, any questions, please? Anybody? Nobody? Okay, James.
Okay, please. Do you mean you give assignments after the last class?
I gave
the
assignment
previous
after the
class?
last class.
Yeah, the previous class.
Yes.
I Ah, I was not aware.
Yeah, you're not
Okay.
around. You're not online, right? But
Yes, sir.
if you said the videos, you'd have seen it
Mm,
there.
No, I didn't. I couldn't finish it now, because of all this light stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned. So yeah. So the assignments. So I'll just post the three of them,
Okay, sir.
so that we can rework.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So any other questions, comments, feedback, suggestions? Okay, if there is none, we shall call it a night for today. Please practice makes perfect. Go back. Do not just wait for Thursday. Go back, practice, revisit, and come with questions. Feel free to reach out to me at any time if you have questions to understand me. I'll be glad to guide you. Okay.